At this stage, I left the group and decided to do Part B on my own, taking all of my code with me. I removed their access to everything. Of course, I first asked the coordinator for permission, and he said it was fine, since it was my work. And if I was no longer in their group, they couldn't use it. I fixed the code error within 2 weeks, then basically rewrote the entire report almost from scratch, adding an Affixia section, which took me about 7 weeks. A couple of days before the deadline, members of Group C started messaging me, begging me to come back because they really needed me. They even offered me money. I screenshotted all of this and sent it to the coordinator, just to keep him informed. While I ignored them, in the end, I submitted my project 2 weeks early and got 100% for Part B. That's extremely rare, especially when you complete a group project alone. Later that same day, I received an email from the university's academic integrity office, not the kind of message you want to see. It said I was summoned to a hearing because an external committee had compared my project with my old group's project and concluded they were too similar. They even attached both versions as evidence so I could prepare a response. I wrote to the coordinator and asked if he would support me, since in such cases either one person or the whole group usually gets punished. He said yes, he would back me up. Perfect. I started preparing for the hearing by going through hundreds of my commits, from the time when they still had access, looking for one that matched their version exactly. I found a perfect match: 0 differences, not a single symbol, thousands of lines of code. At the hearing, the vice rector for IT was present, someone who basically had the power to do anything to us. My old group was given a chance to explain, and they rambled for about 10 minutes, claiming they did everything themselves. Then it was my turn. I asked permission to share my screen. The vice rector seemed surprised, but agreed. I shared my screen and showed all the screenshots I had taken, including their desperate messages begging me to return and even offering money, as if that wasn't enough. I also downloaded their latest project version and compared it with one of my earlier commits on GitHub using trusted software, explaining everything I was doing step by step. The result: 0 differences. Everyone was stunned. One of the group members even muttered something under his breath. Very quickly, I was excused from the case since I had nothing to do with it anymore. It turned out they had just cloned one of my commits and saved it on their laptops before I revoked their access. They couldn't fix or add anything, so they simply submitted it as it was, hoping to get away with it. A friend of mine later asked one of the group members what grade they got. The answer: they failed the entire project. They received 0 for Part B, which gave them just 5.5% overall, far below the 40% required to pass. This meant they had to retake the module in the summer, and as a result, they lost their internship jobs. After all, who would hire someone who failed a project so badly and showed such academic dishonesty? Each of them lost about $20,000 worth of internship salary for the year. That's a huge amount of money for a student. Meanwhile, I calmly received mine.